You've been restless since you woke up, heart a little fuller, thoughts drifting towards someone you haven't called, a creative idea pressing against your chest like it needs air. There's a warmth humming just beneath your skin, a pull toward connection, beauty, something you can almost touch but haven't named yet. That isn't coincidence. Right now, Venus is moving into exact conjunction with Procyon, the ancient star of swift brilliance, and the sky is genuinely opening above you in this moment. What this alignment is about to unlock for you, and the one mistake that could cost you everything it's offering, is exactly what we're covering today. At exactly 3:47 p.m. Eastern Time today, June 9th, Venus reaches perfect conjunction with Procyon at 25 degrees, 57 minutes Cancer. This is the peak moment, happening right now as you listen. Venus, governing love, beauty, creativity, and magnetic attraction, locks into alignment with Procyon, the little dog star, one of the 8 brightest fixed stars visible from Earth. Fixed stars don't build slowly. They arrive like lightning, illuminate everything, then move on. Procyon amplifies Venus's natural magnetism while adding its own signature: swift rise, swift recognition, and the ever-present risk of swift fall if mishandled. This lunation sits within the 18-month lunar node cycle, the same cycle tracing collective emotional intelligence from private recognition into public action. The conjunction occurs in Cancer's 3rd decan, ruled by Neptune in traditional astrology, which means the beauty and attraction Venus offers today comes through intuitive knowing rather than calculated charm. When Venus, already powerfully dignified in Cancer's nurturing waters, meets this stellar guardian, she gains access to emotional depths that are usually protected, hidden beneath the surface of daily consciousness. In ancient Mesopotamian astronomy, Procyon was known as the water dog, guardian of the celestial waters that flow between worlds. The star carries the mythology of swift ascension, heroes who rise quickly to prominence but must prove their worthiness through sustained wisdom rather than initial brilliance alone. This is why today's conjunction offers both tremendous opportunity and a test of your ability to receive gifts without losing your foundation. You are feeling this activation in your nervous system right now, the restlessness, the sense of possibility pressing against your chest, the way your attention keeps drifting toward people and projects that matter to you. This is stellar energy working through your human awareness. Stop. Feel that pulse? That restlessness you woke up with isn't anxiety, it's activation. Some of you are experiencing this Venus-Procyon conjunction as pure creative fire, an irresistible urge to reach out, to create, to connect. Others feel it as emotional intensity, almost like your heart is too full for your chest, like every relationship in your life is suddenly more vivid, more possible, more urgent. Both responses are exactly right. Both confirm that the starlight is working through you in this moment. The energy needs direction, not suppression. If you try to ignore what you're feeling today, it will find other ways to express itself, through restless dreams, through sudden impulses that catch you off guard, through a sense of missed opportunity that lingers for weeks. Better to work with the current than against it. Think back to May 24th, when Venus entered Cancer and began her approach to this conjunction. That was 3 weeks ago, and if you're honest about it, something in your emotional life has been building pressure since then. Maybe it was frustration with how slowly a relationship was progressing, or creative projects that felt stuck in planning phases, or opportunities that seemed to hover just out of reach. You might have felt like you were pushing against invisible resistance, like the universe was making you wait for something without telling you what. That wasn't punishment, that was preparation. Venus needed those 3 weeks in Cancer's waters to gather the emotional intelligence necessary to handle Procyon's lightning when it arrived. The compression you felt, the sense of being ready but not yet allowed to move, all of that was the cosmic equivalent of a bow being drawn back. Today is the moment the arrow releases. The pressure you've been feeling wasn't random. It was Venus in Cancer teaching you to distinguish between authentic emotional impulses and reactive patterns, between inspired action and desperate grasping. The relationships that felt stalled were being refined. The creative projects that seemed stuck were gathering the depth necessary to sustain stellar amplification. You needed that time to develop the emotional maturity to handle what's arriving today. And here's where the energy shifts. Cancer, your moment has arrived. This Venus-Procyon conjunction is happening directly in your first house, the sector of identity, appearance, and how you present yourself to the world. For the past month, you've been feeling like your true self was somehow muffled, like people weren't quite seeing the real you, despite your efforts to be authentic and open. That period of feeling invisible or misunderstood ends today. The conjunction activates your natural Cancerian gifts, emotional intelligence, nurturing instinct, and an almost psychic ability to read what people need, but amplifies them through Procyon's stellar magnification. You become irresistibly appealing not through artifice or performance, but through the pure force of your authentic emotional presence. This is your superpower today. People feel safe with you, seen by you, nourished in ways they can't quite name but absolutely crave. Your ruling planet, the Moon, is currently in Scorpio, forming a supportive trine to this Venus-Procyon conjunction. This creates what ancient astrologers called a reception. Your emotional nature receives and amplifies the stellar gift rather than resisting it. The result is magnetic authenticity that draws people toward your emotional truth rather than any mask you might typically wear. In traditional Hellenistic astrology, the nocturnal ruler of the water triplicity is Mars, not the Moon. When a watery event like this Cancer conjunction triggers, it's Mars who charges the emotional field with combative intensity, meaning your emotional intelligence today comes with a warrior's edge, a willingness to fight for what you love rather than simply receive whatever comes your way. Externally, this manifests as sudden romantic interest from someone you'd written off, creative opportunities that arrive with flattering urgency, or professional recognition that feels almost too good to be true. Your phone starts buzzing with invitations. Projects you've been nurturing quietly suddenly have everyone's attention. Maybe it's the person who finally responds to your creative proposal with genuine enthusiasm, or the romantic connection that shifts from friendship into something deeper with surprising naturalness. Perhaps it's the family member who reaches out to heal an old wound, or the artistic collaboration that feels like coming home to yourself. The key is that these opportunities come to you rather than requiring aggressive pursuit. Your natural tendency to create emotional safety for others becomes a magnetic force that draws exactly the right people and situations into your orbit. You discover that vulnerability, when offered from a place of strength rather than neediness, is irresistibly attractive. Internally, the deeper shift is profound. You stop apologizing for taking up space. The part of you that has been carefully managing your emotional intensity, worried about being too much for other people, relaxes into confident self-expression. You realize that your depth is not a burden but a gift, and that the right people have been waiting for exactly this level of authentic feeling. The emotional walls you've built to protect others from your intensity dissolve, revealing that your sensitivity is actually a superpower that transforms every interaction it touches. This is your comeback, Cancer, not from failure, but from hiding. And here's where the energy shifts. Aries, the conjunction is activating your fourth house, the foundation of your chart, your roots, your sense of home and family. For weeks now, you've been feeling restless about your living situation, your family dynamics, or some core part of your identity that felt shaky or undefined. You're someone who thrives on forward motion, but this particular area of life has felt like quicksand. The harder you tried to force progress, the more stuck you became. Venus meeting Procyon in your fourth house changes the entire game. Or the client who not only approves your proposal but asks you to expand it, recognizing that your aesthetic vision is exactly what their brand needs to stand out in a crowded market. Your ability to see the beauty in complex systems, to find the elegant solution that satisfies multiple stakeholders, becomes the thing that sets you apart from more technically skilled but less relationally intelligent competitors. The external opportunities are significant. Creative collaborations with influential people, speaking or presenting opportunities that showcase your aesthetic intelligence, or professional advancement that feels both deserved and delightfully unexpected. Your reputation shifts from nice to work with to essential to the vision. People begin seeking your input not just for execution but for creative direction. The internal shift runs even deeper than professional recognition. You've been operating from the assumption that your collaborative nature makes you less competitive, that your attention to beauty and harmony somehow weakens your professional edge. This conjunction reveals the opposite. Your ability to create environments where everyone feels valued and beautiful work emerges naturally is exactly what organizations need to thrive in an increasingly complex world. Internally, you stop minimizing your contributions. The part of you that has been deferring to more assertive personalities finally claims your rightful place as a creative leader. You realize that your ability to see beauty, to create harmony, to make people feel valued, these aren't soft skills. They're rare and powerful gifts that transform everything they touch. You begin speaking up in meetings not to compete, but to offer the aesthetic and relational intelligence that's been missing from the conversation. This is your breakthrough, Libra. The recognition you've been earning quietly finally becomes impossible to ignore. That restlessness you're feeling right now, some of you are interpreting it as excitement, a green light to move boldly toward what you want. Others are feeling it as anxiety, a warning that something is moving too fast and needs to be controlled. Both responses confirm that Procyon starlight is working through your system. The energy requires direction, not suppression, and not blind acceleration either. The key is learning to distinguish between inspired action and reactive impulse. Inspired action feels grounded even when it's bold, connected to your deeper values even when it's surprising. Reactive impulse feels urgent and disconnected, like you have to move immediately or lose the opportunity forever. Stellar energy can trigger both, but only one leads to sustainable results. When was the last time you felt this kind of expansion? Here's what most astrology content won't tell you about Venus-Procyon conjunctions. They create a dangerous seduction toward premature success. The opportunities that arrive today feel so perfectly timed, so obviously meant for you, that it becomes almost impossible to maintain healthy skepticism. Procyon's ancient reputation warns that peaks reached too quickly tend to collapse under their own weight. This is not about rejecting the gifts this conjunction offers. They are real, and they are meant for you. But Procyon's mythology teaches that swift rises often lack the foundation necessary for sustainability. The person who becomes famous overnight struggles with imposter syndrome. The relationship that ignites with instant passion burns out when reality sets in. The creative project that catches fire immediately fizzles when initial enthusiasm fades. The shadow specifically manifests through Venus in Cancer's tendency toward emotional overwhelm. When feelings intensify this quickly, your normal boundaries can dissolve. You might find yourself sharing more than usual, trusting more quickly than wisdom suggests, or making promises based on emotional highs that your practical self can't sustain. The stellar amplification makes everything feel more significant than it might actually be. Consider the entrepreneur who receives sudden investor interest today and immediately quits their day job, only to discover that the funding comes with conditions they hadn't anticipated. Or the artist who gets offered a gallery show and agrees to produce 20 new pieces in 6 weeks, burning out before the opening. The romantic connection that feels like destiny after one perfect conversation, leading to moving in together before either person has seen the other handle stress or conflict. The key diagnostic questions: does this opportunity require you to abandon your established foundation? Does it promise results that feel disproportionate to the effort you've invested? Does it ask you to make irreversible commitments based on feelings that are only hours or days old? If the answer to any of these is yes, the conjunction is offering you a preview of what's possible, not an invitation to leap immediately. True Venusian wisdom knows the difference between recognizing a gift and grasping for it desperately. The most sustainable way to work with stellar energy is to let it show you what's possible while honoring earthly timelines for manifestation. We've covered how Venus Procyon creates swift magnetic attraction and the shadow of premature success. You can already feel it when your heart opens more quickly than usual, when opportunities appear with remarkable timing, when people respond to you with unusual warmth. But there's something crucial we need to address: how to ground this stellar gift into something lasting rather than losing it to impulsiveness. The difference between those who benefit from stellar conjunctions and those who get burned lies in their relationship to integration. Stellar energy arrives as pure potential, brilliant, intense, and temporary. Your job is to translate that potential into practical reality through sustained action over time. Before we move into practical guidance, let's pause and recognize the larger cosmic context we're operating within. This Venus-Procyon conjunction doesn't exist in isolation. It's part of a broader pattern of water sign activations that began with the lunar nodes shifting into the Aries-Libra axis last year. What you're experiencing today is your emotional intelligence catching up with the evolutionary pressure you've been feeling for months. The fixed star Procyon sits at the threshold between Cancer and Leo, between the private emotional world and public creative expression. This conjunction is literally teaching you how to bring your deepest feelings into visible form without losing their authenticity. The opportunities arriving now are testing your ability to remain true to your emotional core while engaging with external recognition and success. This is why the energy feels both thrilling and overwhelming. You're being asked to integrate parts of yourself that have been kept separate. The artist and the business person, the lover and the professional, the dreamer and the practical planner. Procyon's gift is showing you that these apparent contradictions can actually enhance each other when brought into conscious alignment. First, choose one primary focus for this energy rather than scattering it across multiple opportunities. Procyon amplifies whatever you direct your attention toward, but it does so with compressed intensity. If you try to advance 3 different relationships, launch 2 creative projects, and pursue multiple career opportunities simultaneously, you'll dilute the power rather than concentrate it. Ask yourself, what single area of my life needs the most support for positive acceleration right now? Let that question guide your choices today. The temptation will be to say yes to everything that feels good, but stellar energy rewards focus over breadth. Choose the opportunity that aligns most closely with your deepest values, the one that feels sustainable even if the initial excitement fades. This doesn't mean choosing the safest option. It means choosing the option that serves your authentic growth rather than your ego's desire for immediate gratification. Second, create concrete anchors for any inspiration you receive today. The conjunction brings brilliant ideas, sudden clarity about what you want, and powerful urges to reach out and connect. But stellar energy moves quickly. What feels absolutely certain at 3 p.m. can feel overwhelming by 9 p.m. if it hasn't been grounded into practical reality. Write down specific next steps, schedule concrete follow-up actions, and share your intentions with trusted friends who can help you maintain accountability. This might mean drafting the email you want to send but waiting until tomorrow to send it, giving yourself time to review it with fresh eyes.